also RadioZenu.com, and the fantastic JiggyJaguar.com as well. It's getting a little bit of a facelift this week, so it will be going in and out. So check out JiggyJaguar.com for more information. And we've got Jay Bird Wells with us today, best-selling author. We also have with us Chris A. Jones, the scientific analyst. He's a photographic enthusiast. I don't know how that fits on a business card. Also author of Reversion 1, Reset the Future, and today we're going to be talking about blogging your book into existence. And blogging doesn't have to be an activity that takes you away from writing your book. A blog is the easiest and quickest way to drive traffic to your website, your company, your products. It gets you ranked high in Google if done properly, and is also a functional way to write your book. And can you blog your book and promote it all at the same time, post by post on the internet? How can you make your book stand out? And we've got with us today Chris A. Jones. Now, Chris, tell us a little bit about your background, and then I'm sure me and Jay are going to have some questions for you.
I'm a graduate of Fayetteville State University in computer science. Got my degree in bachelor's degree in computer science. Electronics as well, and mostly to do with science.
Yes.
Wrote my first book a little over 6 months ago. 47 years old. It's the first time I've done this, but I've had these ideas for probably 30 years, I guess.
Yeah. Well, being a fairly new author, what were some of the different hurdles that you had to get past with putting this book out there?
Well, learning the process, learning how to actually promote the book. Actually writing the book was relatively easy, but the process of actually promoting it and getting it out there so that people know it's there is the part that most people don't realize is the most important step. If you don't promote it, people won't buy it. They won't even know it's there. So
yeah, I know some people that tell me just to stay at home and cook and not promote my book, and that's not how it goes. If you don't go out and kiss babies and shake hands, and nobody's going to know you got a book.
That's from my experience as well. And you can have the best novel in the world, and if you don't promote it, you're not going to get the sales.
Nope.
Vice versa, you can have the worst book in the world, promote it right, and still do really well with it.
Yeah, I've seen some of those.
We've got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here on Radio Zenu, also RadioZenu.com, and iHeartRadio. Chris A. Jones with us today. He has a great book out there. Tell us a little bit about your book and why you decided to write it, my friend.
It's called Reversion, Reset the Future, and it's a story about a few scientists who discovered that a disaster is going to happen in their very near future, which is about 300 years from now. And they discovered that it happens because of changes in the ecology that basically affects the environment and essentially destroys the environment by that point. And they decide that the only way to actually fix it is to go back in time and change the history of the world to make it such that we change our ways of thinking with respect to power usage and development. And the scientists involved are actually about 200 years apart in most cases, and they get together. Two of them fall in love. They become involved in the project that actually starts this, and they manage to go back in time and fix the problem.
So, question, did you get into the whole time quantum thing where certain people didn't get born?
No, actually, I tried to avoid too much of that. I didn't want to have to go and explain a whole lot of history and how things changed. To some degree, I actually did have the characters involved changing their history to a minor degree. I tried to avoid too much of that, though.
Yeah.
The main piece of the story was to change basically change how certain things happened in history to affect how the environment was impacted.
We've got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here on Radio Xenu, and of course, find us on iHeartRadio as well. Download the iHeartRadio app today and stream our broadcast each and every week. And Chris A. Jones with us today. He joins us live here on our program. And now, when you decided to put this book together, what was some of the different research and some of the different things that you did to bring this book to life?
Well, you know, that's actually kind of interesting, because this is a story, like I said, that I had started to dream up over 30 years ago. I guess if you really got right down to it, most of what I learned in school and my interest in time travel and some of the other aspects there sort of developed over the years, and I used a lot of that expertise and knowledge to write this book. Plus, I had a lot of other authors who had done time travel type novels as well that I used as reference to figure out how to do mine. H.G. Wells being one of the ones that is most famous.
We've got a great guest with us today. He joins us live now. With your blogging aspect, how did you blog and then end up putting that into book form? Kind of take us through that whole thing there, Chris.
Well, that portion of it was more to the point of trying to promote the book. So the one thing that I wanted to do was to get people aware that the book was coming first, and that what to expect when it actually did come out. I used the blog to basically provide like teaser chapters out of the book so that people would actually get to read portions of it and get an idea of what they're getting ready to read, and hopefully get an idea if they want to read it at that point. And I got a lot of interest in it. I had a Facebook page as well that I used to link to that. I also did a little bit of research into the time travel aspect as far as, posting that on the blog as well. Got a couple of articles there that deal with time travel and how it works, and, well, rather doesn't work, and a little bit to do with some of the drawbacks of how to write a novel using time travel as its theme.
It's a difficult subject, definitely admirable.
Yeah, actually, I agree with you. That's time travel is one of those things that you have to be very careful with when you're writing a novel. If you go overboard, then people will not even waste their time reading the book. If you start using aspects of history that change the way history happens and people don't understand how it happened, then they're going to question it. If you actually include history, for that matter, that didn't really happen or that was out of sequence, people are going to question it. Anything that's really off about the time aspects really throws a monkey wrench into the works, and people just don't want to read those books.
Well, it's like, when I was writing my book and I had to sit there and make sure that the building was described correctly, because you can't have an octagonal room with a square or rectangular outside. It just doesn't work that way. You got to make sure that everything is just believable, so that the little miney, that the fake stuff, the fiction stuff, is believable.
Correct. That's also true with the time travel. If you don't make it at least believable that these individuals could have gone back in time and done these things, then they won't even think twice about tossing your book at that point.
Yeah.
For me as a person that's read a lot of time travel books, the one thing that I always keyed on was whether the history that was used in the book actually made sense. It was something that I understood from history, and it actually mapped out to what I remember from history. Even if you're gonna, sorry.
Not a problem. I didn't mean to step on you. Go ahead, my friend. Go ahead, Chris.
Even if you're going to go about changing things in what's reported in history, you got to make it believable that could have changed that way and how it would have impacted future events. Otherwise, like I said, all bets are off at that point.
It is Chris A. Jones. He's with us today here in our broadcast. And
are you a big?
Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
Are you there?
Yeah. Go ahead, my friend. I was just letting everybody know who we were talking with. Go ahead.
I forgot my question.
I'm sorry. When we have people tune in late or they just come in, a lot of times we get comments from people that are like, well, who are you talking with? So I was just letting everybody know.
It wasn't your fault. Somebody tried beeping in, and so I tried to find out if the Skype was even on. So it wasn't your fault, Jiggy.
Okay. Well, Chris, with your book, what do you want readers to take away from your writing of the book?
Well, I hope they actually enjoy the story and really can get into the story as well, and be aware that there's 2 or 3 more books coming out for that same series. So it's not going to end with this novel. It's going to go into additional novels at that point. So
I remembered my question.
I'm hoping that.
Okay, Jay, go ahead.
Are you a big history nut?
Some aspects of history, yes. Some things I'm really not into. Civil War and World War II are the things that have interested me the most in history. But other than that, there's things that I've studied, but I'm not really a history buff with respect to them.
I wondered about that. I don't know if you knew this, Jiggy, but in college I took a Civil War reenactment class.
Okay, that sounds that sounds entertaining.
Did you do anything like that in college?
Myself, no, I haven't done that.
So you just like studying it, just with books and stuff?
I just like studying it, and yeah, I just like studying it and understanding the different battles to some degree. I couldn't name battles right off the top of my head right now, but I learned a lot about it through reading and discussing with others who have knowledge of that area of time and all. So,
is there a history club that you get into?
There probably is a few online. There probably is a few online. I can do a Google search and find them, but in my case, it was just friends that were also into history as well, who knew quite a bit more about the Civil War than I did.
I take it your
You
family
probably
and friends are proud of you then.
I'm sorry?
I take it your family and friends are proud of you and they can't wait to read the book.
Actually, most of them have read the book. So, yeah, I think they are. I know talking with my dad, he's actually enthusiastic about it, and he's hoping it works out. So,
Well, that's pretty cool at your age having your dad be proud of you.
as far as I know, he's always been proud of me. This is just another aspect of my career that adds to that pride, I guess.
That's pretty cool.
Where can we find your book?
You can buy it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. What else? I think you can also get it through Kobo and Google, the Google store.
So is it
Probably
a
order it and
softcover and is it ebook too?
ebook, hardcover you can get. You have to order it. It's not something that they actually keep in the stores, but you can order the hardcover. Actually, I say paperback cover, not hardcover.
Well, Chris, I appreciate you joining us today. Thanks for coming on the broadcast, and have yourself a wonderful day, my friend. Thanks for being with us.